Feedback. As VIPKid teachers, we all write feedback to the parents, and we patiently or not so patiently await feedback from the parents. But what if we're doing it all wrong? Maybe you've thought to yourself, I don't know how to write this feedback to make sure the parents actually read it, or I don't know how to get more feedback from the parents, like 5-apple feedback with comments perhaps. Well, trust me, you are not alone in wondering these questions about parent feedback, and I thought, who better to ask than a VIPKid parent? In this video, you'll enjoy an interview that I did with Melody, who's the mom of one of our VIPKid students. But not only that, Melody is also an employee of VIPKid at the Beijing headquarters. She works on the media team. So she is around VIPKid a lot, and also a lot of her friends take VIPKid classes. So she has a pretty well-rounded view of the program. Okay, so after you enjoy the short Q&A I did with Melody, I will quickly recap the top 3 takeaway points, including steps that you can take starting today to become a better teacher, a better feedback writer, and a better magnet for parent feedback. You ready? Let's go. So Melody, how do you decide whether to rebook with a teacher? Let's say that you have a class and you finished a class with a teacher. How do you decide, yes, I want this teacher again?
I don't like her, right? I don't like him, right? Like, how do I decide if I should change a teacher, right? I think a good teacher should turn up the difficulty based on the kids' English level and ability, instead of just going through the slides, each slide by each slide. It's very boring. And I don't think students will make great progress if you just going through the slides. So if the teacher can do some changes according to my kid, I think it's okay. And during the class, she is full of passion, energetic, enthusiastic, and funny maybe. But if not, I think maybe it's time for me to choose another one.
Right.
Yeah, not me actually, for most of the Chinese parents, I think. And actually for me, it's fine. I like to leave feedback for teachers because it's very important for me to communicate with teachers. And I think it's one of the effective ways to understand, to communicate my kids, and to know more about my kids' weaknesses and strengths. So for me, it's totally fine. I'd like to leave feedbacks.
Yeah, and I appreciate your feedback. You are quick about it and detailed, and so thank you for that.
Because I'm looking for more details from the teacher, and I would like to leave more details to the teachers. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So you enjoy more detailed feedback from the teachers?
Yeah.
Can we just talk about that for a minute? Like what you hope that a teacher says?
Details, right? Yeah.
What's that?
Kind of details, right? What kind of details, right?
Right, yeah. What kind of details do you want a teacher to write in the feedback?
Actually, I don't like more details about the teacher describe or tells me more about how the class was going. Actually, I can see that, so we don't have to see more about that. I would like to see more about how to practice after class, how to practice in daily life, like using flashcards or write the letters, or like watch cartoons or things like that. How to practice. I want to listen to more about that, not just oh man, you did a great job, or we did whatever. Actually, I know, I can see that we what.
This is kind of I guess a personal question, but Melody, do you think it's appropriate for a teacher to ask for your feedback?
like in my feedback? So if I'm writing my feedback to you, is it appropriate for me to ask, please leave me a 5-apple feedback rating? Like, is that appropriate, or is that not really okay? What do you think?
I can accept it.
You can or cannot?
No, I can. I can accept it. Yeah. And I think you teachers deserve it.
What do you think is the best way for teachers to ask for feedback then? If you're saying it's okay, teachers can ask for feedback, what do you like? Like, should they say, please leave me a 5-apple rating, or I want to hear your comments, or what can I do to be a better teacher? Like, what question or statement do you think will do the best job getting the teacher's feedback?
Yeah, I agree with what you just said. Can you, like the teacher can you see more about what do you think of the class? And what do you want during the class? And is the class okay? Ask more and more questions to the parents.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share or just say to the VIPKid teachers?
I just want to say I prefer VIPKid teachers who are really responsible and who puts his or her hearts to teaching and really care more about each case, and they can turn up difficulty based on the students' English level to achieve their full potential. I prefer that kind of teachers.
Wow, talking to Melody completely transformed the way that I approach feedback. And for the better, I am spending less time writing my feedback, and it's a better help to my students and their parents, and I'm getting more feedback in return. So let's talk about how you can implement these things that she talked about. Okay, so I'm going to recap the top 3 takeaway points of what parents want, and after each one, I'll give you some actionable items, some steps that you can take starting right now to become a better teacher. Number 1, parents want to feel that you are full of passion, both in the classroom and in your feedback. They really appreciate when you take the time to personalize your feedback. Really think quality over quantity when it comes to feedback. That will help you out a lot. It doesn't need to be long, but it should be personalized so that the parent knows that you truly care. So I encourage you, when you're writing your feedback, to share the one most special moment that you had during the class. Maybe your student had a special breakthrough or finally used a longer sentence or something that was special for that student. Or maybe you had a funny moment. You don't need to recap the whole moment, summarize it in a paragraph. It doesn't need to be long. Just say, I was really proud of Johnny when he did blank. This shows great progress. Something simple, 1 or 2 sentences about something that you were very happy about during the class. Parents want to hear something positive that their kid did that shows them that the VIPKid classes are really worth it. Okay? So another way that you can incorporate your passion into the feedback is by asking the parent if your student liked something. Right? So let's say that you incorporated a new prop or a new activity. Ask the parents, did Johnny like the whatever puppet? Or, any kind of question that you can think of that shows that you truly care and are trying to cater the class to the student. Number 2, parents want to see that you can adjust for their student, both in the classroom and in the feedback. Again, this comes down to personalization. So let's talk first about how to prepare before your class, okay? And I have a full video on this, 5 easy steps, so I've linked it below, how to prep for your classes. But anyway, real quick, be sure that you are doing a little bit of homework before the class to see what the student is working with, okay? So I would suggest that you take parent or teacher-to-teacher feedback with a grain of salt. But besides that, if you have any kind of feedback from the parents already, any written feedback that they've offered, be sure to incorporate that into how you approach the new lesson with that student, okay? And think about things that the student likes. That is a huge factor in having a student like your class, right? If you can adjust to the student's interests, that's really, really important. So that's what you do before the class. And then during the class, you really want to think about the level that your student is at. If you crank it up way too difficult for your student, that student is probably going to shut down and not want to learn, okay? But on the flip side, if your student is a rock star and is just rolling through the lesson, then you will really need to punch it up, because otherwise your student will probably be bored and start tuning you out. So it all comes down to adjusting, and then when you write the feedback, be sure that you are offering specific advice for your student as well. If you really believe that your student needs an adjustment to the level, it's okay to gently mention that in the feedback. Of course, you probably want to say that to the learning partner too, but there's nothing wrong with letting the parents know that your student needs a little extra support, or that your student maybe needs more of a challenge. Number 3, parents want to learn how to help their kids at home. I mean, let's think about it. Most VIPKid parents are probably not confident English teachers. That's where we come in. So we can try to offer some more specific examples of how they can practice at home. Parents really dig that stuff. So, for example, instead of saying something vague like, Susie should practice counting to 20, you can give a real short explanation and say something like, to help Susie practice counting, please give Susie 2 plates and 20 grains of rice, and have her say the number of each one as she transfers from one to the other. Something like that. That was like one sentence. I mean, come on. So you can easily come up with short activities like that. Some of the most popular ones for my students' parents, are flashcards. They're very cheap, easy to make. You can even have the student make them. That's a great part of the activity. So for example, if a student is having a hard time remembering certain vocabulary words, you can have the student draw the picture of the vocabulary word on one side and write the word on the other side, and then have them practice as a game. Also, memory game is very easy for students to do at home as well. So think about these quick activities you can do. You can even assign homework. Like maybe you can say, please have your student practice counting to 15 3 times a day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Something like that. And then I look forward to hearing him practice it for me in our next class. So by making specific examples for the parents, it really helps them out. It's like a tangible thing. They know exactly what is going to work for their students, and it's not just going to be them drilling this information into their kids because they don't know what else to do. So think about it. That could really, really change the educational experience for your student. And once the parents know how to help their students at home, they will remember those activities and it will help them tenfold, okay? So this is where it comes into the feedback, right? So you can suggest those examples in the feedback, and I encourage you to think of feedback more as a conversation. Melody talked about this in the interview. It's more of a conversation. Let's talk about, how I can help the student, and then I will ask you a question, you'll answer to me. Think of it like as a give and take. And let me just say that good feedback gives good feedback. So I've realized that sometimes if I leave really nice feedback for someone, they are more inclined to leave nice feedback for me. It's not 100% of the time, but I've seen a serious increase in my feedback, and I hope that you will see an increase in yours too, and that your students will progress so much better because you are helping just a little bit more. Do you want to hear more about what parents want? Well, you are in luck, because this video is part 2 of 2 videos from my interview with Melody. So you can go ahead and check out that other video all about parent expectations. It's right here. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments wherever you are along your VIPKid journey. Happy teaching! Bye!